Hey, I'm the spouse. Real excited about interviewing my wife today, talking with her about her music. Megan, care to share a little bit of history about what it is that you're working on?
Well, I'm working on my very first album, as you know, and I guess I started singing when I was young, so um, I've been doing this my entire life. But I guess you were my first inspiration for a song, so I wrote my first one as for us to get married to, I guess.
hmm So that was the first step, first song that you wrote. How many have you wrote since then?
10 more, which are going to be on the album.
hmm what's your favorite of the 10 that you wrote?
Whew. I think probably my favorite right now is Fighter. Um,
Why? Why you like that?
it's just got some grit to it. I just really like the knowing that it's written, but to put the whole armor of God on. So just knowing that you're not just supposed to just stand still all the time. You're actually meant to fight, and God gave you the armor to do that. So, but it's got some pretty cool music to it. So that's exciting.
Good energy. It's probably a call to action, I guess, to be prepared for what's out there in the world. Um, how did you know? Like, why did you know that you should make an album?
Well, I have been singing, like I said, for my entire life, and I really didn't know what the next step I wanted to take was. And I found Creative Soul Records online, and after talking to him, he pretty much pointed me in the direction of making an album, and I felt like that was what God was calling me to do because He was giving me songs to produce, and so that would be the next step for me to take.
Next natural step. I've been through this with you, so I know a little bit about what a small amount of what it takes to do it. What do you think has kept you motivated? I know that there's been some definite hurdles. How do you get over those?
Yeah. A lot of it is scripture, just knowing that God is put this in my heart, so He's not going to give this to me and not give me the tools to succeed. I really want to touch people's lives with this album, so that kind of keeps me motivated too. And of course you do. Just being a hard worker and stuff. Yeah.
With every album or song artist, there's usually they have a target, they have an audience that they attempt to speak through in their music. Who would you describe as being the primary target audience for your music?
Well, I hope this album is actually for everybody, a little bit of something for everybody, but I would say mostly my target is for young women, just because I am a woman, I guess, and I kind of know what it was like in that younger time of like teenage years and stuff like that. So, but I guess a lot of it too is for people that struggle. I didn't have a lot of struggling times in my life, I don't think. There was a few things that happened that, I wish I didn't have to go through, but it made me a stronger person on the other end of it. So when I wrote these songs, I wasn't really basing it off my life, but off the people that I see in my day-to-day life. So it was for them, to help them get through the hard times.
With any project like this, usually there's goals, there's things that you hope to achieve through it. In producing your album, what do you hope to accomplish, or how do you hope to influence people?
Ask it again.
Through your album, through the goals that you have, the purpose of the album. When I listen to your music, or anybody, your target audience that you talked about, how do you, what do you hope to accomplish through them hearing your music, or myself hearing your songs?
Well, first off, if they don't know Christ, I hope that's my main goal, is to reach people that don't have hope. And then for people that do know Christ and maybe have just are having a hard time or have, turned away from Him, I hope that it brings them back to Him and closer to Him than it has before.
Coming from a husband who's not exceptionally handy, there's a lot of things that you do around here that I'm not that skilled in, and one of those things when we look at what you do with your music, I wouldn't have the first clue if I sat down to try to write a song, like how to even begin to put words to paper and to make it work. How do you approach that? How do you go about writing songs?
Well, first I had never written a song before our wedding, so I had tried before and it just didn't work out. So with these songs, most of them started out with a subject, like To Change America. That's one of my, I guess, most popular songs right now. We were going through that really hard time in America with, people getting killed for their race, anger, hatred, and I just felt like that was a time that we really needed to draw closer to God. And I was just thinking back, when I was a little girl, we didn't have to worry about things like going outside to play and running into a lot of people that you didn't know and being scared of them. And, I started thinking, well, when exactly did all of that change? And, it was just a gradual turning away from God. Each Christian quit standing upon the Word and the truth, and they started turning away from God. So, the only thing that was going to change America was for us to get back on our knees and to seek what God really wanted in our lives, which is love and truth. And so, that's where that song came from. But most of the songs came from a story that somebody had told me, or, a situation maybe in my life or in my family's life that I was seeing, and I really didn't know how to help them, so I was digging in Scripture myself to try to give them truth and give them wisdom, and songs just kind of came out of that. So
when you think back, and a lot of times I've heard before people say, well, when the decision is made, the worry should end. And you look at there's always like regrets, or not necessarily regrets, but things that you maybe thought, if I'd have known this at this time, I would have done it differently. Is there anything looking back that you would have done differently to this point?
Yeah, I would have saved more money. And that's a big, financially, this has probably been the most trying time for me, just to know.
For us?
Both of us. Just knowing that this project is going to happen, but not knowing where the funds are going to come from. And, with me in my day-to-day life, I am a hairstylist, so the money is not always guaranteed. And so that's, trying to work some extra hours to make a little extra money. I wish I would have done that a few times. As far as the process, though, I wish I would have started on this a little earlier, but God has a plan, and if I had of and I wouldn't have met you, then it wouldn't have been worth it. So, I'm not going to say I would change the process or when I started, really, because things wouldn't be the way they are now, and I really like my life. So.
I'm glad. So for the folks at home that might not know you all that well, people that aren't friends and family and know where you're from, know everything, the ins and outs of your life, can you tell us just a little bit about your history, your family, where you're from?
Yeah, I grew up in Sweetwater, Tennessee. That's where I'm from. I went to school all the way through high school, my entire school career, I guess, in Sweetwater. And throughout that time, I did talent shows, choir. I was part of the choir in most of the schools that was offered. Straight from high school, I went to beauty school, and went to Tennessee School of Cosmetology, Tennessee School of Beauty, sorry. And I still didn't know really what I wanted to do with my life, but I knew I enjoyed doing hair, makeup, and stuff like that, so I figured that would pass the time by, and I would be able to make some money to survive by doing that until I figured out what I wanted to do. And then I met you in 2013, or 2013. Yeah. And we got engaged in 2014, got married in 2015. Yes. It's a lot of dates to remember. And from there, I had your support with my dreams, even though I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And I remember coming back from Nashville, and I was so excited, I was going to make this happen and stuff like that. And you're like, well, you're going to ask me what I think? And I'm like, oh yeah, sorry. But the first thing that came out of your mouth was, I think you should do it, and I think you should pursue your dream. And that was really special to me, to know that I had your support, that it wasn't just something far-fetched and a dream that, would end after the album, but that's something that you would support as I continued on with the journey that God was putting me on. So,
what hobbies? I might answer this question. What kinds of hobbies, things do you enjoy in addition to music?
Oh, I love to redecorate our house.
Probably doing that right now in your mind.
Yeah, I like to take cheap things and make them look really expensive, I guess.
Like me.
Yeah. You're not cheap. I really like working in the outside, in the landscaping, and in our little garden. I enjoy working out, playing basketball. I like to be active. I like to be doing something all the time. So if it's not involved with my music, I've got 10 million other things going on. So sorry, honey.
I know. What things or what type of music, artists, who do you prefer to listen to?
I have a wide range of artists that I listen to. Mostly contemporary Christian music, but like from NF to Francesca Battistelli. All the ins and outs. I like to, whatever I can sing to or has a good beat, I can dance to. It's like an animated life at our house.
I always tell people that it's a lot like a Disney musical, Living with You.
I do like Disney music too.
Oh, I know. When it comes to your music, how do you think that you stand out? How do you differentiate yourself amongst all the talent that's out there?
I honestly don't feel like that I do stand out myself, and I don't feel like that I really want to. I want to be who I am and who God has made me. But as far as the music, like the songs, I feel like they would stand out because they might relate to somebody else that another song couldn't relate to. And so that's what I really want for people to get out of that, is what they need, the hope or faith or a push to fight just a little bit longer or pray just a little bit longer in whatever situation that they have. So that's what I want people to get out of it. I don't really necessarily want to stand above anybody else in any area. So.
Obviously your dream is one that a lot of folks have, a lot of women have. For someone who's considering that, how would you advise them? What would you tell them to do as far as the first step if they're interested in pursuing something like you are?
As far as music, pray about it. Pray really hard. And make sure you have a good support system behind you, because growing up, I love my parents and stuff, but And, as a parent, I would think that this career would be a scary choice because it is very uncertain. It's very expensive. And if it's not done in the right way, it can lead you to a life that you didn't want or that God doesn't want for you. The party scene, the cheating on your spouse and things like that. And I don't want to be a part of that. And I think that probably if I had started younger, I wouldn't have been grounded enough in Christ to steer clear of that. But, my parents, although they supported me singing, they didn't really push me into that career because, it's, like I said, a very uncertain career. And if you're not grounded enough, then you don't need to be pursuing that, especially with Christian music. But, what was the question again?
Starting.
Hold on.
It's all right. Starting out. So
so starting out.
Else.
Well, the first thing that I did was find a producer. I honestly didn't know what step to take. I had 2 songs that I wanted somebody to listen to tell me if they were even good enough. And besides you, because you're always my biggest supporter. So I worked with Creative Soul Records, which is a Christian, it's not a record company, but a Christian company that helps other Christian artists kind of get where they're wanting to go or make that first step. And Eric Copeland, the president, I guess was what you would call him, he guided me to what the next step was going to be for me. So I had 2 songs, and most of the time an album is from 8 to 10 songs, so I had to write 8 more songs for my 10-song album, which was scary. But he kind of helped me along with the process, and he's like, okay, maybe you need to do this with this song, and tweak it just a little bit here. And once he got all the musicians together, and he knows a lot of people, so he made the whole making the album process a lot easier and a lot more fun. And my songs are, they went from okay to wow when the musicians started playing with it, which you got to experience that. So I guess that would be my suggestion is, first off, pray about it. Make sure that's where you feel that God is wanting you to do, or where He's wanting you to be. And second would be to find a producer that you trust, that can kind of help guide you along the way.
So you're a coach.
Yeah, definitely. Somebody that's going to push you through the hard times, because it's not easy. I spend probably, 20 hours a week on my music without getting paid right now. So.
Yeah. I'd say as far as what it occupies in your mind, I'd say it's way more than 20 hours.
Yeah,
as far as,
probably.
Yeah.
But as far as physical, working on it, probably about 20 hours. And that it can get discouraging sometimes. My biggest thing that I wasn't sure about was the social media side of it. That I really didn't want to promote myself, I guess. That was something I felt like was kind of prideful. But after talking to him about it, he was like, if you want people that need to hear this music to hear it, then you're going to have to put it out there. And so after looking at it that way, I was like, okay, that makes sense. And so I have to make sure that I have regular things on my social media, videos of me singing, just at least once a week. And a newsletter, blog, it's a lot of stuff.
That actually goes right into the next question very well. So tell us specifically where we can find you. Do I go to a website? Do I go to find you on YouTube? Is there what avenues, what channels do I need to search out to find more of you?
I'm on almost every social media site, so mostly on Facebook and YouTube. I've picked up Twitter, and I'm trying to share my stuff on I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not really sure how that works just yet, so don't feel like you're going to get a lot on there. My website, meganhurstmusic.com, and that has pretty much all my social media kind of on it. So you can, if you go straight to my website, meganhurstmusic.com, then you can kind of venture out from there with my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and stuff like that. And you can sign up for my newsletter there, which I try to do that once a month so that people can kind of stay involved with the process and what's going on. I have a blog. I enjoy writing, so hopefully I can write about more things as the future comes. So.
Any concluding remarks, anything that you'd like to convey to our audience before we close today?
Yeah, whatever God puts in your heart, don't think that it's too far of an idea or too big of a dream to achieve, because with God all things are possible, and that's what I want my life to be about. I want it to be about Him and what He's done for me, and not about me. And I remember listening to Beth Moore the other day as I was getting ready, and she was talking about what if somebody wrote a documentary or did a documentary on your life, what would it be about? And that's what I would want my life to be about, was how she lived for Christ, how I lived for Christ. So that's it.
Well, thank you for taking the time to sit down with me today. I really appreciate it.
I'm so glad you did this.
and I do love you very much. I am very proud of you for everything you've done this far. I look at all the time and effort and energy that you put into this, and then in addition to work, putting up with me, just everything that you have to do, it really amazes me. Yes, I love you.
I love you. Thank you.